everybody? Mr. the Fanboy here. This is my WWE 2015 year-end review slash rant. I'm not even waiting. I usually wait to December or to the end of this year, end of the year for this review, or to the years already passed to do this video, which I'm gonna do the TNA. I'm gonna wait to the end of the year to do the year in review for TNA. WWE, I've already called it quits with WWE, and don't care what is in store for the rest of the year, and nothing in the following year, 2016, right now interests me. So right now, this is my 2015 year-end review slash rant of WWE. And once again, while there was some stuff I liked, this year was just another garbage year for the WWE. Of course, brief history. I already really wasn't watching much of WWE. SummerSlam 2014 was good, but that wasn't enough to like bring me back. That wasn't enough to bring me back until I saw Roman Reigns, who I was hugely high on, and I really wanted as a main eventer. Till I saw him getting pushed hard, but till I really saw him getting pushed hard, and this is when I decided to, after not really watching WWE, this is when I decided to finally give them a chance. Now that they finally to put a lot of these underground indie wrestlers I liked on television, and since they were pushing Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns and moved John Cena to the mid card where he belongs, if he has to stay a face for the kids, moving him to the mid card where he belongs. But um, it was terrible at this time. I was, since they did respond to two of my criticisms, I was justifying and, in my opinion, accepting crap when TNA on the other channel and several other promotions and these other promotions like Lucha Underground and Ring of Honor were doing so many good things. We're doing so many good things, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Whereas WWE was not really responding to any of my criticisms except for these two criticisms. But I was still watching. First off, you had the garbage Royal Rumble pay per view with the Battle Royal, and the I remember the Final Four being, I can't remember the fourth guy, but I remember it being Roman Reigns, Big Show, and Kane. I remember once again WWE booing it, and they didn't learn their lessons from last year. First off, they didn't even have Daniel Bryan in the Royal Rumble, which caused Batista and even Rey Mysterio to get booed. 2015, this year, they tried to get rid of that by eliminating Daniel Bryan early and having Big Show, Kane, and what's his name in the main event, and Roman Reigns in the Final Four, and that got booed. Even had the Rock come out there to try to save Roman Reigns. It was pathetic. How do you have? I'm a huge fan of Roman Reigns, but how do you have a guy, especially in WWE, how do you have a guy who is big, strong, athletic, and good in the ring, but can't talk for crap, and is not liked by the fans? Even this made me really respect the Miz even more. I'm not a super fan of the Miz, but this really made me respect the Miz even more. The Miz responded to why Roman Reigns wasn't over with the crowd, and Miz was right. The fans want to see an organic wrestler, not a WWE produced wrestler, which is what Roman Reigns is. Which is what Roman Reigns is. He's too green and was pushed to this spot way too soon. He should have turned heel instead of Seth Rollins. Instead of Seth Rollins, he should have turned heel. Then of course you have the awesome Fastlane pay per view. This right here was good. This right here and WrestleMania were probably the only shows this year that I could really say were really good. All the other shows were either shows that really were not worth watching, or, in my opinion, SummerSlam 2015, which I'm about to get to in a minute, which I'm going to get to later on in this review, was garbage. The let's start off with let's start off with so yeah, Fastlane was good. Then yeah, WrestleMania 31. I didn't like WrestleMania 31, and I now hate it. But I thought it was a really good WrestleMania. I thought it was a good WrestleMania. But I do agree with Off the Rope show saying was bland and forgettable, which is my problem with WWE today in the PG era. Bland and forgettable. The show had poor production values, and it didn't feel like WrestleMania. It felt like just a major WWE Raw SmackDown Super shows. It didn't feel like WrestleMania, but there was lots of awesome um, matches on it, and of course the one the the one thing that really pissed me off, and this is one reason I'm not watching WWE now, was Sting. Sting. Of course, the storyline was supposed to be Sting taking out the Authority and bringing order back to bringing professional wrestling back to normal and bringing it into the chaos. And he should have put it into the Authority instead. They had first off, when we get to the match, the whole Authority storyline is dropped and it transforms into a WWE versus WCW, DX versus NWO type match. Oh, this would have been good years ago when the WCW invaded the WWE. So it transformed into that horrible storytelling. Horrible storytelling. Then it got even worse where you have the NWO, black and white, who Sting who Sting was against. He was part of the NWO Red, and he only joined that because his best friend Lex Luger convinced him to join. And when they did the finger poke of doom and became one stable again, he didn't have no part of that because Sting is not associated with the NWO. Sting is not associated. Well, they had the NWO come out, and this was just a joke right here. All of these old men walking slowly to the ring, This whole thing, this wasn't nostalgic at all. It was a joke. Yeah, I didn't get no nostalgia from this. The match was good, but the interference and the booking and everything else about it sucked. And I'm not gonna give the benefit of the doubt for having a good match because when does WWE care about that? They care more about the story, and the story was garbage. It should have been Sting taking out Triple H and ending the Authority. Instead, he loses here. Then he shows up months later requesting a title shot against Seth Rollins. Garbage, atrocious storytelling. This is one of the reasons I'm not watching WWE right now. And then to hear JBL bury Sting on commentary, man. My God, man, my God. And then of course you had Adrian Neville, and once again, and another reason I started praising WWE was because of this guy. I was a huge fan of Pac on the British independent wrestling circuit. I was really happy to hear he will be coming. He will be coming up to the main roster. Had an awesome debut. Defeating Curtis Axel in back-to-back matches. Then having a good showing against Seth Rollins. Then months later, he just starts jobbing on TV. He just starts jobbing. After a feud with Bo Dallas, he starts jobbing on TV. And now he's in a garbage, boring feud. Now he's in a garbage comic book feud with Stardust. And I already mentioned Cody Rhodes. I already mentioned how they've been burying Cody Rhodes since he started in WWE in my WWE roster burial video. Um, another thing I liked, of course, the tag team, the Masters of the Universe, the brass ring tag team between Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. In my opinion, neither Cesaro or Tyson Kidd have the ability and they have the ability to get over. They have the abilities, but they don't have the look, or not necessarily the look, but the charisma to get over in WWE. So WWE, in my opinion, the smart thing, and put these three with Natalia, put these three together, put these two together with Natalia, and it was gold. I was always excited when these two were wrestling, and 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 then of course Samoa Joe makes his debut, and on his first night there, injures Tyson Kidd, Tyson Kidd with the muscle buster. So now Tyson's Kidd's out of wrestling and possibly never wrestle. Possibly his neck injury is so severe he possibly never wrestle again. And I blame Samoa Joe for his recklessness. I also blame WWE for forcing these guys to travel, which forcing these guys to travel, where these injury putting the risk of injury at an even higher rate. Which brings my next point: Daniel Bryan. They forced him to travel. Then they brought him back way too soon, and now once again, he just like Tyson Kidd, he may never wrestle. He may never wrestle again. He may never wrestle again. And then of course you got what else? What else was I gonna talk about after this? Then of course John Cena. Oh yes, I knew it. I knew they were not gonna keep him in the mid card for long. As soon as that crap with Rusev and Owens was over, he found his way back to the main event and the feud with him and Rusev. I defended it because John Cena, it keeps John Cena out of the mid card, but this feud was garbage, and this feud was gonna show you how garbage Cena is. The people in America, an American versus a foreign country feud. If you can't get over as a babyface with a feud like this, I agree with Bruce Blitz. You suck. You suck. John Cena, the Americans weren't even cheering for him, and his whole feud was just garbage, and boring. And then after his feud with Owens was over, he found himself back in the back in the main event picture. Back in the main event picture, Seth Rollins. First off, Seth Rollins wins the title in a lame fashion, the Money in the Bank. I accepted this because it was Seth Rollins leaving the belt, but this whole championship reign has been a joke. It's terrible, and Seth Rollins is now go away. He get off my TV, and I've mentioned how he doesn't have the charisma to really be a good champion, and it's just nothing compared to the champions or the heels of the past. Seth Rollins, awesome wrestler, but in this role he sucks, and he's one of the reasons I don't watch anymore. My God, his promos are so boring. And he's not as bad as Roman Reigns, but he's pretty bad on the mic. Then of course you got so pretty much right here, seeing all of this stuff right here, and then seeing how awesome TNA was with taping after taping, and of course Slammiversary 2015, which I enjoyed, which that got some mixed reception. Some people liked it, some people didn't, but I enjoyed it. I was totally exceeded my expectations for the pay per view. I really didn't expect it to be good because apart from the main event, it looked like a glorified Impact, but just like with Slammiversary 2012, which on paper also looked like a glorified Impact, apart from the main event, which was Sting and Bobby Roode for the TNA Heavyweight Championship. That pay per view felt like an episode of Impact, but they proved me wrong and turned this pay per view into a box office gold. My only criticism of the Slammiversary 2015 was they were in the Impact zone instead of being in Dallas where I expected them to be. But this right here was such an awesome pay per view. And after seeing a pay per view that awesome, I had decided to stop watching WWE. You had TNA and company respond pretty much to all my criticisms. Not only respond to my criticisms, even give me stuff I didn't ask for, such as Bobby Lashley, African American World Heavyweight Champion, where WWE didn't respond to really any of my it didn't respond to really any of my criticisms. John Cena is back in the main event. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns are in the mid card feuding with Bray Wyatt, who sucks. Feuding with Bray Wyatt, who sucks, and and you have all these wrestlers. Um, you had all these young wrestlers being buried in the mid card, while the part timers are and the legends are main eventing, which I'm about to get to that in a minute. That's just when I decided to stop watching. When I saw how good TNA was, how good Lucha Underground was, how good Ring of Honor was, a promotion I used to totally hate on. But all these promotions pretty much responded to most of my criticisms, even gave me things I didn't ask for. Why WWE doesn't listen to any of my criticisms. Raw is still 3 hours. Raw is still 3 hours. Um Terrible garbage gimmicks like the New Day, like the New Day, um um terrible production values, atrocious set design, and just and over reliance on part time wrestlers, man. So yeah, yeah, then of course the worst pay per view right here. This right here is where I quit. This right here is where I officially had quit watching WWE. I was already doing this, but I now read the results and watch the parts I like on YouTube. I don't even really do that much anymore. I've mostly been keeping up with WWE through occasional spoilers, and people's reviews. This right here is where I really quit. The SummerSlam 2015 pay per view. This pay per view was garbage. This pay per view was garbage. You got a mixed reception, but for me, it's garbage. The fact that they had Brock Lesnar and Undertaker, a part timer versus a 50-year-old man in the main event for a world heavyweight championship for the world heavyweight championship, while the young guys are being buried in the mid card, in garbage feuds like Dolph Ziggler in his feud with Rusev, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns feud with Bray Wyatt and Ryback in a feud with the Big Show. But you got, and I didn't care about the dusty finish everyone talks about. I didn't even care how good the match was. It was an awesome match. The fact that these two were featured as the main event of my pay per view. Then, of course, other crap on the pay per view. Jon Stewart being on the pay per view and even being involved with the finish of one of the matches. John Cena being in one of the main events. And, of course, Stephen Arnell, the worst. He wasn't the worst celebrity to ever wrestle in the ring. He at least took bumps and took hits, but he was so green. He was so terrible in the match. Despite having three other people in the ring, they still couldn't make him look good. He still performed poorly despite having three other people in the ring to guide him. That performance was embarrassing. I'm a huge fan of Stephen Arnell for his role as the Arrow on the CW, but he says stay away from professional wrestling. That was right there was awful. I could get wrestling training and put on a better match than that. That right there was terrible. And all of that was more important than your young guys. Young guys. This right here is where I said screw WWE. I ain't watching that crap no more. And then of course you got next Sting comes out, even though he lost to Triple H at WrestleMania, requesting a title shot against Seth Rollins. And I didn't watch Night of Champions, excluding this match. And this match was a good match, but like I said, not bringing me back to watching WWE. So like I said, in WWE, I've seen all the spoilers for stuff they have planned for the future, and none of this stuff interests me, man. None of this stuff interests me. So WWE already. I'm not even sticking around for the rest of October, November, and December to do a year-end review. WWE already sucks. All right. Dug out.